Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the video lecture series of wireless cellular and 4G LTE module number 1, lecture number 5. So today we are going to see how actually the multiple antenna is benefiting the LTE system, and one of the architecture which is called as an IP based flat network architecture. Okay, we will see how actually the blocks are working out in LTE particular system. Okay, so in my previous video lecture, so we have been seen how actually the things are been carried out in multiple antenna techniques. Okay, so they are just kind of some advantages, or they are just kind of a support to the LTE system. Okay, and we have seen how the multi antennas are working in a better way as compared with the earlier traditional system, or you can say as a conventional system. So okay, they, like in terms of the time diversity, okay, like we have a beam forming, then spatial multiplexing, then MIMO systems, and this MIMO systems will be more focused in this particular LTE architecture. Okay, now let us go with the today's topic. Here is the IP based flat network architecture. Okay, this is one of the architecture. Okay, well, architecture is nothing but how the LTE system is been developed, how it is been framed, okay, how it has been designed. Okay, but it is IP, because there are other architectures are also there which are completely related to LTE. Okay, that is called as a packet evolved. Then we have a core network architecture is something a bit different here. Okay, so now let us more focus on the IP based flat network architecture. Okay, so what do you mean by this IP based flat network architecture is the thing. But first of all, it is a air interface. Air interface is nothing but it's a completely a wireless. Okay, and the other aspect here which we focus more in the LTE system is called as a flat radio or core network architecture. Okay, there are two things which will be more highlighted in this particular topic. One is the flat, another is nothing but the core. Okay, so these two are different architecture, different block diagrams. Okay, or you can say the different way of operation or the mechanism. Okay, now what is actually the flat is nothing but it means that few nodes, means few subscriber, few users, few entities. When it comes, we call it as a flat. Okay, and there will be less hierarchical structure. There is no like following the multiple tasks, multiple blocks. Okay, very few structures are available in this particular flat network. But when you compare with the core network, it will be a very big network, and a big hierarchy will be followed for the each nodes. So therefore, that is the basic difference between the flat network and the core network. Okay, so in flat we have very few node. Now when it comes to the very few node, it is obvious that the cost requirement will be less. So therefore it is a low cost, low latency requirement, okay, for the design for the flat architecture. But because there are few nodes are there, then we require the infrastructure will be also very small. Okay, that is what I can give an example. Like we have a very big KEB, right, but we have different nodes. So therefore the installation price, the installation cost, then the latency, the power requirement, everything gets reduced. So therefore in this particular flat network, we have low infrastructure cost. And the other thing here is very few interferences and protocols are required for the processing of particular signal. And then the interprobability testing and also for the development and the deployment cost is also less. Okay, so let us see how actually this particular architecture will look like. Okay, so if you just look at this particular diagram, figure number 1.3, it is called as 3GPP evolution towards a flat LTE architecture. Okay, so what is this? SAE is nothing but it's a kind of a gateway. Okay, it's a kind of a gateway which has been required for that particular architecture. Okay, now you can see there are total 4 columns are available here, and each column represents the different release of the architecture or different release of 3GPP. Okay, now here you should be very careful, and you should know each and every abbreviations which are related in this particular block diagram. Here they have written in a very detailed manner. Then you can go it one by one. Okay, if you just look at this diagram, the column number 1, it is a 2G bar 3G release number 6. Okay, this is the first release where we have 4 blocks, right? Then we have 3G slash HSPA, that is high speed packet access, but the release version is number 7. Okay, we also call it as a direct tunnel option. Why it is called as a direct tunnel option is because we have the direct link which has been connected between this particular gateway GPRS node to RNC node, that is radio network controller. So that is why the reason it is called as a direct tunnel option. We have the third row, which is called as 3G LTE. Now you can just look at here how actually there is a huge difference. You can see between the names also, right? Here it is a 2G. We have transformed it to 3G, or it's a high speed packet access. Now after 3G, we are trying to involve the LTE system. That is what we require actually here. Okay. So though it is a 3G LTE, release number 7s are same, but here we have the node B. This is extra node B with RNC option. There is no RNC option will be available here, but instead we try to more focus, we try to inculcate, or we try to mix up these two particular nodes, and we form a single node. The name of that particular node will be node B with RNC functionality. It means that this RNC block is been included in this particular node B only. You can see here the two separate nodes. Now what this means here is you are trying to reduce the cost, because to install RNC and to install node B, we require different cost. But if you try to include, if you try to embed these two particular blocks, then we try to reduce the cost. So that is why it is very low cost. Then when we try to switch for the release of 3G LTE for a version number 8, now here again, the whole this particular SGSN block is represented by WME block. And then instead of node B, we try to have E node B. That is what the whole architecture speaks all about. Okay, now let us see how these particular things are working out here in this 3G LTE. Okay, so what actually this 3GPP network architecture says that it has a various releases starting from 2G to 3G LTE version number 8. Okay, now when you completely look at the 3GPP release number 6 architecture, the conceptually says that it is completely as similar as to the preceders, has 4 network elements in the data path. Okay, you can see here, is it 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is my data path. You can see it is a two-way, the 2 lines. So the data will be flowing from our GGSN to BTS. BTS is nothing but base station transceiver system. Okay, so this is how the flow will go like. Okay, so it has the 4 network element in the data path. Which are the 4 networks? The base station or node B, radio link controller RNC, serving GPRS service node, that is SGSN, and the gateway, that is GPRS service node. Now when it comes to the release number 7, okay, we have a direct tunnel. That is what I said, that from RNC to GGSN, okay, which will eliminate SGSN from the data path. You can see here we don't have any kind of the SGSN in this direct between these two. It has a complete tunnel. It has a direct communication link which has been established here. Okay, therefore why we do this here is nothing but just to have only 2 network elements in the data path. Okay, we don't want any kind of extra here. We have only 2 data path networks, so that it can be easily communicated, it can be very fast, it can be very quick. Okay, so that your enhanced transmission rate can also be increased, or you can simply say that the rate of transmission of your data will be enhanced. Okay, then again, apart from that, we have the SAE gateway, that is system architecture evolution gateway. Okay, but when you try to compare with the previous cellular system like 2G, 1G, 2G, and the 3G, LTE emerges the base station and radio network control functionality to a single network. And that particular network or the module name or the entity name is called as WME. Okay, you can just see here, right? Now, if you try to compare here, SGSN and RNC, right? But here in the second, we don't have SGSN. We have done it as a direct tunneling. But now here we don't have RNC also. We have been included in this particular node B. Now this SGSN, this RNC, along with the direct tunneling, all these 3 together, we are replacing it by a single entity in LTE. Please remember, in LTE by MME, Mobility Management Entity. Okay, which provides, what does this does is this provides the plain functions related to subscriber, right? mobility, that is nothing from movement from one entity to another entity or from one point to the another point, and the session management, it has to manage the sessions also. So therefore this MME and this SEE gateway could be collected in a single entity called as an access gateway. We call it as AGW, right? Then the main aspect here, what this LTE flat architecture says is all about is the services which are provided now are the voice. First is nothing but the voice, which are supported by the IP packet networks using IP protocols. Okay, so one example here I can quote here is by you just taken your Geo network, right? So if you have a Geo mobile phone, if you have a Geo SIM card, okay, or let us not speak with the Geo, we speak with the 4G network, right? If you have a 4G SIM card, but your cell phone or the mobile phone, or you can say as the user entity is 3G mobile phone, right? Because earlier, in the earlier days, we don't have 4G mobile phones. Nowadays, in some 3 4 years, we have a 4G mobile phone, right? So earlier we used to have a 3G mobile phone, right? But if our SIM card is having 4G, right, that particular SIM card 4G, it will be supported by your mobile phone, but the internet which we get, or the capacity or the mobile capacity, is restricted to 3G only. Even though it is a 4G, it will even though your SIM card is 4G, it will restrict your speed of operation of your internet to 3G only. This is the first case. Okay, now coming to the second case. If you have a 3G SIM card and you have inserted the 3G SIM card in 4G mobile phone, now what will happen? Now 4G mobile phone, if you have, but still you have a 3G, then you will get a 3G network only, 3G speed only. Okay, this is case number 2. Now the case number 3 is you have a mobile phone which support the 4G and you have a 4G slot. Okay, you have a 4G slot. Now what happens here is that your mobile phone will support your 4G network very properly with a high speed of internet. Okay, now if you are trying to move from one place to another place where there is a no 4G network installed, there is no 4G network availability, where there is a 3G availability. Now during that case, what happens here is your mobile phone, which is being designed in such a way that, or the architecture which is designed in such a way that it will support 3G or 3.5G, right? This is the case number 3. Now the second case here is, if you have a mobile phone, okay, which is trying to support the extra part of the 4G, that is called as a VoLTE, right? In the mobile phone on the right top corner, you can see it is written as VoLTE, right? Now during that case, now if you take an example of your Geo, what happens here is, when you have an internet facility, right, so you can make an easily, you can just call, right? You can, if you want to call from one person to another person, you will call, no doubt. But what about the internet? Your internet will not be lost, right? This is what the main difference is. That is called as an IP protocol. IP network is being used by the LTE system architecture. But in other cases, that is case 1 2 and 3, okay, what happens here is, whenever the call comes, your internet goes. Your internet automatically get disconnected from your mobile phone. You cannot use your internet facility. That is the main difference between your 3G and 4G networks, right? But nowadays what is happening, even though you are on a call, still you can use the internet facility, still you can have a chat in the WhatsApp, right? Still you can use an internet activity. So therefore, because of this, the internet IP architecture, this LTE system is supporting the huge number of values, or huge number of the services which are being provided by this architecture. This is the main difference. This is the main categorization how actually this has been done. You can just try out with your mobile phones. Okay, whenever you are on a call, just use the internet, or just use your WhatsApp. You'll still receive the messages because internet is active. But this is not the case with the other previous subscribers or previous type of connections whatever we do have here. Okay, so therefore this particular LTE architecture has very better services as compared to the other services, including the voice, right, which are being supported by the IP packets networks using IP protocols. Okay, Unlike the previous system, which has a separate circuit switching board. That is what the another thing. When you go for 1G, 2G, and 3G, they are circuit switching, packet switching is there, right? Message switching is there. But here we have an IP packets or IP switching protocol. But the other, they used to have the circuit switching network, which has been supported by the device with their own mobile switching centers. We call it as MSC, and the transport networks. Okay, so LTE envisions only a single evolved packet switched core. That is what the main advantages of this particular LTE when it is compared to the traditional systems. Okay, which is the overall services are supported, which could provide a huge operational and infrastructure cost. So whenever if any service provider want to establish any architect this such type of LTE architecture or the 4G architecture, then the cost is high, or the infrastructure cost is somewhat high, but it's a bit saving because it provides the multiple type of services which the other services could not be provided. Okay, and it should be again noted that although the LTE has been designed for IP services with a flat architecture, but due to drawbacks in the compatibility reasons with certain latency non-IP aspects of 3GPP architectures, okay, such as GPRS, tunneling protocol, and PDCP protocol, that is packet data convergence protocol, still exist within the LTE network architecture. So that is the small drawback what we have with the LTE architecture here, is that it will not provide a proper latency. So for the non-IP pack, non-IP, okay, whenever it is an IP, it will accept, but if when it comes to the non-IP, it will not support it properly. So therefore, for that particular reason, to support for even the non-IP packets, we will go for the network LTE actual network architecture, where we can see it will support a lot of options, lot of releases are also available, lot of blocks are there where it supports very proper proper signals. Okay, so that all the data whichever they are transmitted, wherever they are communicated, they will be received it very properly. Okay, so with this flat network architecture, so I will conclude with this small topic of LTE in my today's lecture. Okay, thank you.